one, go. Welcome back to the RF Fitness Podcast, brought to you, specifically you, by rffitness.net, your source for online coaching built for and by busy grown-ups just like you, specifically you, who are on the quest for health and strength in everyday life. I am your host, Rob Finlayson, certified older brother, fitness coach, and solo host for tonight yet again. Hello everyone. So sorry it's been like 3 weeks, almost a month, I guess. Gosh, since we dropped our last recording. Obviously there was the holidays, we had Christmas, we had New Year's. Not that New Year's is like a big to-do in a household with a almost 6-year-old and an almost 3-year-old, but we just couldn't make it happen. And then the week after that, last week, I was sick. You might be able to hear it in my voice. I'm still a little bit stuffy. I promise I'm at actually like 96 to 98% full health power right now. Whenever I get a cold, the very last thing to happen is this sort of like sinus stuffiness. So I always sound worse as I start to feel better, which kind of stinks. Short solo-sode episode today, you guys. Main thing I want to do is to address the upcoming year, what I want to do with it, how I will do that. And I thought probably the best way to do that would be to actually just go ahead and read the open letter of intent that I wrote kind of to myself, for myself, but I posted it online a couple weeks ago around New Year's, big surprise, on my Instagram. And is it content that anyone really is asking for? Not really, but it did take a lot of thought and very real effort on my part to put together this letter. And I've never written a letter kind of to myself before, letter of intention. And I found the exercise actually very helpful, very bracing. You know, I don't do a lot of resolutions these days, but I do feel very resolute having written this and, you know, sort of made this oath to myself for what I want this year to look like. So I'm going to read it to you guys. Hopefully it's at the very least, interesting and informative about where I am going. Maybe even helpful to you if you're looking for a way to sort of like put your goals, put what you want to do for the year on paper, make it more real somehow. We talked about intentions for the year a couple episodes ago. So after the jump, that's what we'll do. And until then, I will see you guys on the other side. Jumping sound effect. All right. My head looks enormous. Anyways, into the letter. Ready? Here we go. Greetings, heroes. In this open letter, I want to enumerate what I've accomplished and learned in the past year, specifically in the evolutions I've made to my business, in my personal development, and my journey as an athlete. I will also lay out some plans here and now for what 2025 will include, how I plan to get there, and to unambiguously define the victory state for each of my goals so I know exactly how and when I've achieved them. Let's go. Section 1 is titled Standing on Business. Very early in 2024, I rebranded, moving from the D&D Illusion D20 Athletics to the more accessible and generalized RF Fitness name. Since my entire business is just me, the process was quick and relatively painless. I made a website from scratch that was much more scaled back from what I had been running and much more cost effective. And almost immediately I found traction with people who had previously been or would have been alienated by the explicit nerd coding of the old brand. These are people like Rachel, my co-host. So I would say that it has been successful. I also started running quest groups, a small group coaching cadre, and it led to the most profitable year I've had as an online coach. I think probably since 2020 for obvious reasons. With some tweaking, thanks in large part to the excellent pilot program participants, see that's 3 times fast, I was able to find a middle ground of the team and individual coaching tiers that I already offer in order to create a service that got my clients the support and results they desire at a price point they liked. In the spring, I launched the RF Fitness Podcast, hello, with my co-host and certified younger sister, Rachel. Well, the goal of the show was ostensibly to follow her weight loss journey in real time. Life gets in the way, and that road has proven to be even more difficult than we had originally anticipated. While the original goal has taken a back seat, We have received wonderful support and feedback from people who genuinely enjoy the show and have found it entertaining, heartwarming, and even helpful. I wanted it to be real and honest, and I believe we've mostly accomplished this. I also enjoy a much closer relationship with my sister because of it, and so I count this project as a lateral success. Not the exact place I set out for it to be, but satisfying and good nonetheless. In the back half of the year, I've made a distinct effort in my social media presence and brand message. I wanted to niche down on my ideal client type, get my stuff to their eyeballs, and bring in fresh business. That has not paid off just yet and likely requires a lot more study and effort before it picks up, which leads me to this year's professional goals. In 2025, I will grow an even more profitable online coaching business. Doing this will involve leaning into Quest groups, making a change to service tier pricing to make individual coaching more attractive and accessible, and nailing down a consistent online brand/presence. In-person coaching sessions will also be introduced this year. I look forward to having face-to-face opportunities to train my once online-only clients and to grow another arm of my service. This will include hybrid online/in-person tiers, in-person only training, and a la carte session options. The idea of streaming kettlebell workouts and or leading them outdoors in warmer seasons is a very attractive foothold strategy for this part of the mission. I will additionally commit to pushing at least one product, ideally my kobolds and kettlebells project, out to an online marketplace for purchase in order to generate some passive revenue generation. I will track finances more closely and consistently and would consider my win state to be making more in this year with RF Fitness than I did from 2023 and 2024 combined with D20 Athletics. The biggest roadblock to victory is, as ever, my schedule. Only having one of myself and spending evenings working at the gym is keeping me from being available over my clients' most desired time slots. This requires meditation, as I do not wish to spend every evening working and away from my family. Which leads to point 2, titled, This Time It's Personal. This past year was one of the most expensive for our family since we had the kid. The cost of repairs to home and cars piled up on top of numerous medical interventions that have been expensive and frustrating. Olivia graduated potty training, matriculated into kindergarten, and is learning and growing at a really impressive rate, but she's still terrified of leaves. Mo has been absolutely incredible this whole year through all the challenges, the changes, and the inevitable stress of it all. As we have transitioned into being a school-ager household, I have struggled to find a balance of productive use of my newfound free time to focus on house things, family things, Rob things, and work things. As disorienting as this has been at times, I have struggled less with my mental health this year and experienced a decrease, though not an elimination, in depressive episodes and emotional dysregulation. That is a win. Socially, I took an intentional and very necessary break from leading Dungeons & Dragons games for the year. I had developed severe creative burnout in 2023 and early 2024 and required time to get my juice back. As I write this in late December of 2024, I can feel that creative itch again, and I'm looking forward to a year of flexing and sharing my imagination in new ways with my friends, families, and clients. I feel like a better person overall, and I'm ready to be more present and available for others again. One thing I realized and came to terms with this year was my role, quote unquote, in my own and other people's stories. I realized I'm not the main character hero that I had assumed I was in my 20s, because who is, after all? But I could instead act as the sort of support class hero for the story. In Dungeons & Dragons terms, this would paint me as more of a cleric or a bard, even though I usually prefer to play as rangers, monks, or fighters. I do my best work helping others to do their best work, keeping my fellow adventurers motivated and healthy. If I can make bodies strong and spirits light, I have done my job. This next year and the many following it are heading for some combination of dumb as hell, batshit crazy, and actually dangerous. The greatest safety and most powerful resource we have is each other. And this year will have to be the one where you start really leaning into each other, and I aim to facilitate that. Here's how. In 2025, I want to lean into the support role. I can do that by keeping our home life running smoothly, holding space for Olivia to grow and explore her world, and facilitating Mo's success in her out-of-work life. I can do this by taking ownership of appointments and repairs whenever possible, taking initiative of getting Olivia signed up for programs, and helping Mo get the space and time she needs to breathe on a regular basis. Outside the home, one of my moonshot hopes for the year is to bring our people together, be it for family dinners with our same-age friends or returning to Dungeons & Dragons in-person games. Getting more physical closeness with our peer group is going to be a huge victory for me. Leading into part 3, titled D20 Athletes. Aptly enough. In late 2023, I earned my blue belt in Jiu-Jitsu and then competed in a local tournament, taking 3rd place in my division. It was awesome. In 2024, I spent more weeks off the mat than on for a variety of reasons. I pivoted in the fall and winter to building size and strength, trying out my hashtag Road to 200 goal, and pretty much abandoning that within the course of a month and a half. Overall, as an athlete, I am less than impressed with my performance this year. I did find some success dialing in my kettlebell programming and have explored and greatly enjoyed training with sandbags and heavy clubs. Those practices will continue. I worked out alone more times than ever this year, and I think I kind of prefer it, to be honest. Enjoying the bro I've worked so hard to develop has been a privilege, and if I'm not grabbing on the boys, I want to be slinging iron in my own little world down here. I came to the conclusion this year that in fitness and athletic development, the absolute determiner of success is frequency. More sessions, more progress, more chances to break plateaus and make incredible changes. I have been preaching the 80-80-80 algorithm for a while. It's that 80% adherence to the plan will get you 80% of your desired effect, at least 80% of the time. Now, there's obviously 365 days in a year. 80% of that is 292, and 80% of that is 233 days. So my training goal is to complete between 233 and 292 training sessions this year. This averages to between 19 and 24 per month, or a pretty achievable 4 to 6 sessions per week. Not every training day will be high intensity. In fact, many will be oriented towards recovery, preparation, or skill work. Everything I want out of an athletic goal, better jiu-jitsu, a wow physique, physical resilience, incredible strength, and improved focus and time management will all be side effects of meeting this frequency goal. I will endeavor to record these data points in one way or another, publicly as often as possible. Aside, you can follow me on Instagram to see me doing this in real time, back to main, to show that I am making the promised progress and can put my money where my mouth is for my audience. As you can likely tell from the content of this letter, I plan to be very busy this year, and making time for training is always the biggest challenge for me and anyone else chasing a fitness goal. In summary, my professional goal: grow RF Fitness as a brand and business. Victory state: make more money with RFF in 2025 than the last 2 years combined. How to do it: adding service tiers and products, expand and improve the podcast and multi-platform content. Part 2, personal goal: strengthen social peer networks and boost domestic success. Victory state: increasing face-to-face time with peer social groups. Olivia and Mo get space to challenge themselves and grow as much as they want. How to do it: planning and executing social events, taking initiative at home for maintenance, repairs, appointments, and programming. And part 3, my athletic goal: to be competitive in BJJ again and to achieve a quote-unquote wow physique. Victory state: 80% frequency training days, 233 to 292 over the course of the year, between 19 and 24 a month, or 4 to 6 sessions per week. How to get there: by balancing skill work, high and low intensity sessions, and recovery training to keep momentum, to not lose time to injury, illness, or burnout. Thank you for listening, everyone, and as always, keep questing.